Y'all get ready?
Yes, you get ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
We're gonna talk about the whole Keke Palmer. She did an interview with Demi Lovato, and it went viral where they were talking about how, you know, they were dating older men when they were like 15, 16, and the men that they were dating were in their 30s. And so this was very interesting. Not shocking, though, but just interesting.
Yeah, I found myself dating. I'm 15. Why is my boyfriend 20?
Why was my boyfriend 30?
Girl!
You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Like,
I'm not smiling at that, but that is real. We was trying to find outlets, though. I don't think, you know,
and
just
also
a way to process this, and nobody our age, I mean,
could understand. Nobody our age could understand. But then you look back in hindsight, when I turned 30, I was like, that's not okay.
girl, the moment when you realize and you get the age of a lot of people that were around you and doing stuff, it's almost a mental break that can happen because you realize, you were taking advantage of. Oh, I was being exploited.
Yeah.
Oh, was very difficult for me when because at 15, I'm thinking like my boyfriend's older because I'm doing an older job and I'm doing a bunch of things and this is the way that it is, and it seemed normal in my mind. But then
especially if you're an older soul too. Especially if you're mature for your age.
I love the Hillary Duff song.
Oh my God, me too.
Yeah, because it's like, we all had the same damn life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where people kept telling us you're so mature for your age.
I also wrote a song about that. It's called 29.
Oh,
and when you listen to it, I think you'll be able to relate to it.
15, why is my boyfriend 20?
Why was my boyfriend 30?
According to interviews and reports, Wilmer met Demi Lovato in January 2010 when she was 17 and he was 29. However, Demi says they didn't start dating until after she turned 18, and the two dated on and off for about 6 years. Wilmer also dated Mandy Moore in the early 2000s. Mandy revealed that she dated him when she was 16 or 17. Wilmer was around 20 to 22. Years after their breakup, Wilmer claimed in a radio interview that he had taken Mandy's virginity. Mandy said that it was a fib, but she also wondered why he would ever say that to anybody and then lie about it. Wilmer was also linked to Lindsay Lohan in 2004. When the relationship became public, she was 18 and he was 24, although reports said that they were seen together when she was only 17. After Demi's recent interview with Keke Palmer, Wilmer's past age gap relationships have gone viral again. Now that Demi is older and wiser, she's able to reflect on her past relationships as well. She says, "I look back in the past and think that's gross. I was a teenager, and so to me, that's gross. I think that when you're in those developmental years, you should absolutely not be with somebody that is older than you by that much," she added. "It's just unhealthy and toxic." Now Demi Lovato is in a healthy and loving relationship with musician Jordan Lutz.
All right, so y'all just saw that and come back on the screen. So I think what I did like about that conversation, you know, a lot of people like to act like it's just Hollywood, like it's just the Keke Palmers and the Demis. This happened to, I think, a majority of girls, myself included. We all dated older guys. You know, we had older guys who came at us in junior high and high school. I remember older guys pulling up to the high school, older guys going to proms, you know what I mean, with juniors and seniors. And these guys were well into their mid-20s. A lot of it was the norm back then, you know, to date older. And it was kind of pushed on us, like, you know, guys our age are immature. You know, older guys had cars, they had money. But they're not lying. Once you get to that age that guys were when they started talking to me, like once I turned like 24, 25, and I'm like, there's no way I can look at a 14, 15, 16-year-old boy. There's nothing we have to talk about whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with Keke when she's like, once you get to be the age that these predators were, it really makes you think like, damn, you were really manipulated. You know, because that's the game they always ran. You're so mature for your age. You're not like the other girls. Oh, I can see, you know, you're going to be somebody in life. And so it's just kind of sad. It was very, very common. And even in the comments section of my Instagram page, a lot of girls were writing and sharing their stories. You know, like I told you, we had a daycare in our high school. So I had daycare class first hour. And it was my job to make breakfast for the babies and stuff like that. And I would say out of all of the moms in the daycare, because it was about maybe 15 kids total in our daycare, most of the fathers were not other teens. I would say 95% of the fathers of those children that we took care of in daycare, they were in their 20s. It was not a teen mom, teen dad situation where the teen mom went to school, the baby was in the daycare, and the teen dad went to the school. Nope. All of the dads, except for maybe like one or two kids, were grown men. And that's how normalized it was. Like, we legit had a daycare in our school. You know, I've talked about that in the past. This is how normal it was, you know, with that. That's why R. Kelly was able to get away with the nonsense that he got away with for years. It was normalized in Hollywood. And, you know, another thing that I've come to realize as I'm going through this documentary is there's a lot of grooming words that are used for young girls. Even when we say things like, oh, you know, girls mature faster than boys. Well, who's telling us that? It's usually older men, older people. And, you know, maybe there is some biological differences, you know, between like a 15-year-old girl and a 15-year-old boy. But it's not much, right? But I feel like that wasn't really to push like the science of it, but to okay for older men to date younger girls. Like, well, they mature faster. I remember like being 15, 16 and getting on the city bus. And I remember this man, I mean, he was grown. And he was like, dang, I wish they made 15-year-olds like y'all when I was a kid. And it was like, well, what are we supposed to do with this information, sir? You know? Like, sometimes I feel like that Corey Feldman interview when he goes, they were everywhere. And that's how I feel like my childhood was in a way. It's like these damn perverts were everywhere, you know? You had girls having full-on relationships with the homeboy's dad. And nobody saw the problem with it. You know? It's sad. Even like a lot of the girls I know who were teen parents, most of their fathers of their children are older than them. You know, I want people to understand that it's not just a celebrity thing. You know, a lot of regular girls went through this throughout the, you know, just growing up. Back in the day, and I don't know if there's a cutoff limit now, but back in the day, grown men could come to prom. As long as that was your boyfriend and your parents were okay with it, they were 25-year-olds at the prom. And it's just like what in the damn, you know, what the hell's going on here? Like, why would you even want to go to prom? You know, but it wasn't hidden. It's like, yeah, my girl's 17, 18, and it just was not hidden back then. It was very normalized. I think the craziest part of those relationships, you know, dating older guys, is that, like, when you'd get into arguments, right? And they say something like, you're just a stupid little girl. And it's like, yeah, I am, bitch. I'm 17, I'm 18, you know what I mean? And it's like, looking back on that, it's like, so you obviously know that I'm a little girl. Because I remember I was talking to this older guy and we got into it. Because being a kid, I was like, oh, you know, I didn't really know a lot of like Ice Cube songs. And it's like, he kind of got upset that I didn't know, you know, like I was like, I think that was like around the time like Eminem was real big, the Slim, you know, real Slim Shady. And I'm like, and I think I said something like, oh, he's a better rapper than Ice Cube. Like, that Ice Cube stuff is old. And he got so mad, like he was livid. You know, he's like, you're just a dumbass little girl. And it's like, yeah, I am. Your point is what? Like, folks is crazy, you know, but it was so normalized back then. And so I can only imagine if, you know, if you worked in an industry like Hollywood, how normalized it was. Because when you're on set, the only other kids you're around that are around your age are other actors. But if you're on a show where there's not a lot of kids, or you're one of few children on those shows, then who are you around all day? You're around older people, you know? So that's the part, you know, I can only imagine like what Keke and Demi and those girls went through. But Wilmer Valderrama has been a damn weirdo for years. They talked about him. I remember him waiting to like come out and announce that he was dating Lindsay Lohan as soon as she turned 18. But if you guys remember back then, they had been hanging out for at least a good year and a half. Like back when she was 16, 17, she was running around with him. But they decided to make it official as soon as she turned 18. But he had been smashing her. Just like with Kylie Jenner and Tyga. You know, she was underage and Tyga was a grown-ass man. But again, these relationships are very much normalized until you become the age that man was when he pursued you. And then you're just thinking back to it like, yeah, I have nothing in common with a 15, 16-year-old whatsoever. So yeah, it's insane.
Want the latest news in the streets? Join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.